Hey there viewers, a Transformers fan or Charlie Young back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Studio Series TFOne Thundercracker. Now, with Transformers 1 having quite a lot of Seekers, yeah, it makes sense that eventually some of them are going to get figures. But, well, seems that Thundercracker is going to be the first of many of them. So, yeah. So, starting off with the box. So, we've got the standard new style Studio Series packaging. So, we've got Thundercracker here in both modes. Got his name right there. 29 steps. Got his face. I quite like the visor. That's pretty cool. Got his name. Autobot symbol right there. The back on both modes. We've got a picture of him in the film. Says what he does in the film. Little focus. There we go. That's pretty much it for the box. And well, for the figure itself, yeah, obviously it's a retooling of Studio Series TF1 Starscream. And honestly, they've done a bit of retooling. Like, yeah, most of the figure is the same, but they have retooled the wings. So that's pretty cool. So, looking at the figure. Now, the blue here is a darker blue than Thundercracker normally is. Like, it's like in between the normal blue that Thundercracker is, like the 86 Thundercracker, and, well, it's in between the blue that, like, Studio Series 86 Thundercracker is, and the dark blue that's all the Nitro Zeus mold Thundercracker is. So, yeah. Honestly, I quite like the shade of blue used here. Of course, we've got the nose cone and cockpit here, which is pretty cool. Pretty sure it's the same as Starscream. We've got this bit. Got the port here, which on Starscream, a bit of the gun attached onto, which this guy doesn't have, because his guns are different. The wings, which have been entirely retooled. You can see that. Kind of looks like a spaceship from an old arcade shoot 'em up. Underneath, not really much to talk about there. But we do have ports here to plug in the guns. Back, we do have the boosters. And the hands just visible right there. So, here we go. So, yeah. And of course, we've got the accessories. And the accessories are actually pretty interesting, because instead of the null rays that Starscream came with, we got these guns. So, these are like... It's like the guns that the full Cybertron Seeker mold came with. Like you see. It's probably not focusing. Hang on. So, it's like the full Cybertron Seeker guns, where it's like a triple barrel gun. So, that's a pretty interesting callback. So, yeah. And of course, we got two of them. And what we do here, we just attach these on. Yeah, these are pretty much meant to go onto the shoulders. I'll just quickly do this off camera. So we've got these attached on, and then we can just close these up. Come on. There we go. And obviously, yeah, these can't take blast effects, so I'm not even going to try. But yeah, it's pretty much Thundercracker with the guns. And honestly, I quite like this jet mode. Like, the way that the wings are retooled, it makes the jet mode different from Starscream. Because if we bring in Starscream, well, first of all, there we go. I mean, Starscream does have this extra piece on top, but well, we can see what I mean with the wing. He's got a forward-facing wing right there. It's kind of like I'm trying to think what this reminds me of. I think it's Bumblebee movie Starscream that has this. Like, this is meant to reference Bumblebee movie Starscream. But with Thundercracker, the wing's more like G1 Thundercracker. Like, this is more like G1 Seeker wings. And it does have me wonder what they'll do for the wings for the other Seekers, like Skywarp and the Coneheads and Redwing. So, yeah. And yeah, it does look like the cockpit is still the same. Pretty much the only thing retooled is the wings. So, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the jet mode. Overall, I do quite like it, but I do have some issues with it. So just before we move on to the transformation, here's some qualms I have with this. Namely, like, I have some issues with the back tabbing in. Like, these are meant to tab into the boosters. And, well, on camera it's tabbing in pretty well, but this leg doesn't really tab in like all too well. It's meant to like fully, like the legs are meant to fully tab in, but this leg doesn't really tab in all too well. It's the same on my Starscream. But yeah. So there's some tabbing in issues that this mold seems to have, because my Starscream also has it. The wings as well. Like, these also like to untab, but oh well. But that's the least of my issues, because we'll see when we get to the robot mode. So now the transformation is pretty much almost the exact same as Starscream. The only difference really being the wings. Now, one cool thing, we don't really have to take the guns off, so yeah, I'm just going to keep them on. And yeah, to start, I'm just going to transform the shoulders, so we can just get these untabbed, move them all the way down, and then close these up. Like so. So we've got that going on. Next, we can untab the wings. Get these little pylons untabbed and spun around. Take the feet, move them down. Untab the forearms from these bits here. There we go, so we can get these open. There we go, get the legs down. The boosters. Move down and leave the boosters from the heels. Close these black panels up. Open up this whole top section here. Then we can untab this. So we got that going on. So I'm just going to move the nose cone in. Now, one thing I found is this whole section right here is a lot better than Starscream's, because on my Starscream, it just constantly comes apart. But on Thundercracker, I'm not having like any issues, so I'm guessing they fixed it. So we just move all this down, move it down here. The cockpit section is just gonna try and go up here. There we go, that tabs in. This whole section will move down, and then that will all tab in, like so. The head will go into place. This will open. Look, this bit will close up. There we go. These will spin around. And these will tab into here. As seen here. Come on. There we go. And then with the wings, they don't really spin around like Starscreams do. They kind of just droop downwards like so. And well, here we have Thundercracker in robot mode. And yeah, the transformation's kind of in my opinion. Like, once you figure it out, it's not so bad, but honestly, like, there are parts that kind of clash with each other. Namely, these pylon sections clash with the wings, in my opinion. So, yeah, the transformation's not really a favorite, in my opinion, but And the resulting robot mode, honestly, when standing still, yeah, like, it looks fine. Like, yeah, there's not much of a backpack there. I do love how the whole cockpit and nose cone just condense up. That's one thing I like about this mold. And one thing they fixed, if you remember Starscream, he had that, well, he definitely had that weird handsome Squidward-ass face there. With Thundercracker, seems they fixed it. This phone's not focusing on it. Come on. But yeah, you can see, honestly, I think that's a pretty good head sculpt. It doesn't have the weird-ass lips that Starscream has. And for some reason, Transformers 1's given Thundercracker a visor. I mean, sure, okay, why not? But honestly, I quite like it. Kind of, like, differentiates him from the other Seekers. And honestly, I'd be all for Thundercracker having a visor in future, like, versions of him. So, yeah. And yeah, his mouth is fine. We don't have the weird, yeah. Now, this figure does still have flaws left over from Starscream, but we'll talk about that in the articulation. Now, he still has the guns, although, of course, we have them here as no rays. But these can come off and become regular guns if you want them to, but come on, a Seeker's meant to have shoulder cannons, so... And I guess we should put him with Starscream. And honestly, yeah. I think for our TF1 Seekers right now, these guys do look pretty good together. They've got different wings, which I quite like. And honestly, I'm kind of curious to see how they'll do Skywarp. I mean, I'm sure they'll do Skywarp in a future wave. Here you can see how they've done the wings. And yeah, Starscream has the additional gun here. And, well, I think that's it. So let's just talk about the articulation now. So, the head, well, the head can swivel. Again, I have to get this to focus. So, head can swivel. He can look up. If you use this joint, he can look up a bit more. He's got shoulders. He can T-pose. Arms can do a full 360, although wings do get in the way. He has got elbows. Yeah, I've got a bicep rotation there. Nothing at the wrist, and this was a problem with Starscream. Nothing at the waist. So, yeah. Now moving on to the legs. You can kick up really high. So, you do a good old high kick. Got a swivel there. Feet can move. And there is no ankle pivot. Now, the lack of both a waist and ankle pivot are issues that people have had with Starscream, and honestly, the issues I have with Thundercracker as well, because, you know, with ankle pivots, they help with stability when posing figures. The waist, like, it does help with dynamic posing, but I think an ankle pivot is the most important thing here. Because, say I try and get him into a cool pose. Well, I say that, he's actually standing pretty well, but... Okay, he's proven me wrong, but you get my point here. Like, if you had an ankle pivot, if you had an ankle pivot, it would help with stability. And I guess that leads me to the complaints with this figure. And yeah, they're pretty much the exact same complaints I had with Starscream. So, lack of the ankle pivot, lack of a waist swivel. Although he does improve of a few things from Starscream. Because with Starscream, honestly, I kind of prefer this guy's wings over Starscream's. And this guy definitely has a better head sculpt. So, yeah. But this is still the same mold, so you probably won't like it. But I think it's a small improvement over Starscream in my opinion. But do I recommend it? Honestly, I would say if you like the Starscream mold, then sure. If you don't like the mold, then maybe either skip it or at least wait for a sale. Like, get it for 10 quid or something. Because this is definitely an improvement, but it does still lack some bits of articulation. But, yeah. Now, one final thing I found funny. This was the only non-G1 figure released in this recent wave. Because they are really pushing the 1986 movie cast right now. So, yeah. That's just something I thought was funny, this figure. But, anyway. Yeah. If you like the molds, then sure, go ahead and get them. But if you don't like it, I mean, yeah, probably just wait for it to go on sale. Me, personally, I really mind it. So I'll probably get, like, the Skywarp when that comes out. If they do the Coneheads or Slipstream or Red Wing, I'll probably get those. I don't know. Depends on if they improve any other things. But, But, well, this has been my review on Studio Series Transformers 1 Thundercracker. And this is a Transformers fan signing off.